is a question straight from me because people have classified me as a Arizona Cardinals hater. And it's not that I'm a hater. I'm just a realist. And the realist in me wants to draft Rondell Moore this year in fantasy draft because of the suspension of DeAndre Hopkins for 6 games and the trade of Christian Kirk to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Sorry, the Carolina. Was it Jacksonville? Jacksonville.
Jacksonville signed him with the agent.
Yeah. So basically, Rondell Moore is kind of the guy right now. Is Rondell Moore worth drafting this year in your fantasy draft?
Not with an early draft pick. I wouldn't take him before the 7th or the 8th round. Even with D Hop out, you and Kirsten Kirk gone, their number one receiver is still going to be Hollywood Brown. A lot of people forget Arizona traded for Hollywood Brown from the Ravens. He's going to be their number one. Rondell Moore is going to be their number 2. You can draft him. He's going to be great for the first 6 weeks. He may be great after that. I'm going to temper expectations because once Nuke comes back, he's obviously going to become probably the more focal part of the thing. Rondell Moore's a great number 3 receiver. I actually liken him a lot to like Randall Cobb and Randall Cobb's heyday. He has the potential to put up 1,200 yards and 10 touchdowns, but it's all going to come down to Kyler Murray and how he spreads the ball. I mean, there's not enough balls around to go around, I don't think, too, when Nuke comes back and when Hollywood Brown, until Hollywood, starts getting his classic case of the drops. But yeah, I would use not a later first round, but a later round pick in your draft on Rondell, unless you're really starting to see like the run on like the number 2 receivers from teams. It all depends. They have actually a decent running game there. So again, targets might end up getting limited for Rondell Moore. But they do like to use him in that Deebo Samuel type way as well. Which, if that's the case, and they figure out a nice way to do that, yeah, that's going to be a nice pickup. But at this point, the way it stands now, just because of the talent that they will have when Nuke comes back and where he's at right now, I would use probably a 7th or an 8th round pick on him.
Yeah, so let's say in theory, he does fall to you in 7th and 8th round pick here, and he does excel those first 4 or 5 weeks of the season. Do you think week 6 you might want to get him off of your roster and trade him while the value is still high, and then pick up a receiver that could be shining like at that point, or do you want to hang on to him for the whole year?
And there again, it all depends how they use him. Now, if they use him the Deebo way, you might want to hang on to him at that point because that's going to be really telling on how they do things. And they did a little bit of that last year with him throughout the season until he got hurt.
Right.
And I just think that if they start leaning that way, he's going to be a great value pick. But if they don't, he's going to be a number 3 receiver. And I'm, again, you're talking about people call you a Cardinals hater. Have you seen the YouTube videos when I talked real about the Cardinals?
Yeah.
And they all got mad at me like 2 years ago when I said they won't make the playoffs because of this. And guess what? They imploded and didn't make the playoffs. And then last year when they started off hot, and I said, hey, they're going to make the playoffs, but they're just not going to be very good in the playoffs. And I got bashed for that by all the Cardinals fans. And guess what? I was right again.
Yeah.
So, I'm probably the wrong person to talk to about the Cardinals. I think Kyler Murray is just too inconsistent. When they handed him $250 million, I was like, go ahead.
So, fun fact there, over on the Facebook page and our IG page at Man Hour Sports there, I did a blind test there, and I put up Kyler Murray's stats, win-loss records, and touchdowns and interception, and 90% of the people said that they would not have him as their starting quarterback. And I'm like, surprise, Arizona Cardinals just paid Kyler Murray $230 million to be a losing quarterback.
Right.
His overall record is 23, 24, and 1. So just take that into perspective.